stick in the IT-related urban planning. Will you please elaborate more in career opportunities in IT sector that an urban planner can engage, and what specific streams are available for an urban planner?
Yeah, I think for the extension of the previous thing, normally, actually, IT means now we can't normally categorize for the urban planner, but anyhow, think about new technology available, tools available to the urban planner. They can use them normally as example. If you try to think about to plan smart town or smart city or smart area, then we need to collect some specific data set. To collect that one, we can do using sensors. Now, at the moment, around the world, there are billions of sensors interconnected here and there. And also now think about as a good now everybody like to work with the drones nowadays. Now drones even a part of sometimes maybe IT, sometimes maybe IoT. Likewise, they interrelated each other. And also the 3D printing. Then if you need to print a model and see 3D animation is possible with the tools available in current scenario. And also if you try to draw some plans and things like at the moment even you are using some kind of specific tools available in current industry environment, closed source as well as open source tools you can use. Then if you try to show some virtual reality, then we can use augmented reality technologies with that one. Because now we can think about now IT wise, you can plan virtually that city environment. Then you are a architect for that. We can say some name like city planner, the architect city planner, or some IT based or IT related. Or sorry, I think you didn't hear me right so far.
Yes, I could hear and it's clear.
All right, okay, yeah. Then in that way, we can think about now you can learn a tool. Based on that, we can start a job directly as a planner, because you can use whatever tools available in current scenario. You can show somebody or your client or the political leaders, this is the city we plan, and this will be a reality in another 5 years time. That kind of thing we can do with IT in current scenario.
Thank you very much for this insightful explanation. And I think Sajan is here. Would you continue?
Yes. Yes. Thank you, Dr. Anuradha. So we'll continue with this discussion. It will go for around 30 minutes. So anyone who would like to ask questions, you can directly ask unmuting your mic, or as the chat is open, you can put any question over to the chat as well. So any more questions? Shall we ask from the participants?
I think if I try to further add more thing to your question earlier, you asked from me. Actually, I have seen in your curriculum you are learning GIS, normally Geographical Information System.
Yes.
Normally, it's a common use of GIS. It include inventory and management of resources, then crime mapping, establishing and monitoring routes, then managing networks, monitoring and managing vehicles, then managing properties, locations, and normally targeting customers, then locating properties that much specified criteria, and managing agriculture crops data. Likewise, a lot of things possible for us to gather with GIS. Normally, then it is come to the planning or urban planning. Normally, GIS considerably simplifies the territorial planning operations, analyze necessary data concerning their spatial relationship that allows carrying out complex assessment of the situation, and creates a basics for adaptation of more extract and scientifically reasonable decisions in the course of the land use. Those kind of things possible for you to think about with the GIS. Now, if you are learning GIS as well as web GIS, normally based on the URL, you can get more information and you can do modification, you can collect the data. A lot of things possible for you to think here. Is that clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Dr. Anuradha, I have a personal question. I want to ask this from you. Like, we have been dealing with census numerical data all the time.
Okay.
When we are preparing plans, the census come into play at almost every time. So whenever we are planning, we are looking into numbers, how many people are there, how many gender-wise and age-wise classifications and everything. But for an example, we are getting this census around 10 years of time. It has been updated like that now. So if that's the case, like what are the possibilities if we bring up a data management system to automatically update these sensors at least once a year so that we could have a more updated and accurate data system? How would that be possible? Is it that so hard to make?
Yeah, actually, it's a good question. Normally, nowadays, using sensors, normally we monitor the vibration of the overhead bridges and some dam. A lot of things are there. Now, problem is, as you mentioned, new technologies arise, we need to replace. But most of the vendors, they try to tell us or send us some kind of a new or additional versions, so plugins kind of thing to those sensors. Now, issue is those sensors cannot be work more years. That's also another problem. Then think about if you try to if you try to talk about this the flying bridge normally introduced in Kalani area at the moment, but anyhow you have to monitor that one. One day it can be collapsed. Then therefore vibration and all the things you have to monitor and see regularly. And also the replacement of the sensors, even a much needed task. But the battery life, sometimes there are more sensors, they are working for 5 years without replacing a battery. Then we have a problem. We can't get this sensor is not working even. Then that notification also should come. There are more challenges as well that actually timely manner we can replace, but we can't replace 100%, but gradually step by step you can replace with the new things. That kind of a procedure mechanism you have to maintain when you are replacing with the new sensors comes to the market. Most of the time we have to think about industrial sensors rather than normally whatever projects we try to do, undergraduate students, we try to purchase a small sensor. Those are not the one we have to think about when you are moving to the real scenario.
Yes, it's clear, sir. So any more questions? Okay, there's a question in the chat box. Shall I read it out?
It says could you please briefly explain about the Yes, I think they ask a question based on drone-based data collection, and because at the moment now think about if you try to take a picture, whatever direction you try to take of the city, it is most of the time 2D, right? Then most of the time we can't get the top view of that area. And nowadays, when you're watching cricket matches, even you can see they try to show the city area. If it is not planned well, then other countries also seen how we arrange our country, our city. And then nowadays they also use drone cameras. They try to fly drones and try to get the overall picture, because now most of the time if you, I think you are as a planners, you also know this the city, Colombo city, actually they plan when the top view is look like another some kind of a the Lord Buddha's statue. They try to show us with that design. Likewise, now we can get some overall view by using a drone cameras, because if you try to nowadays you have seen in this pandemic situation, even the army, they have some unit with the drone cameras. Police also, they have a unit with the drone cameras. Now they try to catch the people who are available outside their residential area due to these restrictions. And we can China use those drone cameras to normally monitor the temperature of the people, and also they try to get some information about the people who are living that area, then who affected this virus. Likewise, a lot of things possible for us to use with this drone camera kind of technologies to plan your city. Then think about, if you gather data day by day in such an area through drone cameras, then based on that data set, by doing a good analysis, even if you can think about artificial intelligence technologies, algorithms to introduce that data set, or big data analysis, or then data mining, or a lot of things possible for you to do if you gather more data, because it's required to collect temperature, humidity, and weather condition, sometimes soil condition. Everything you can collect through these drone cameras. Right? Drone-based data camera, normally it will change your future very quickly, because it happens to 3D printing even. Now, if you need the heart to normally by doing operation to replace it, then by matching those materials relevant to your human body conditions, we can print a heart even using drone. Nowadays, if you need a pizza, you can print the pizza using 3D printer now. That kind of things now, emerging technology change properly. Some of those things, most of us not aware, but anyhow, you have to grab those knowledge very quickly if we plan to move, because planning means you have to think about future. Then before that, you also should have some future knowledge with you to plan it.
Yeah, I think that's an insightful explanation for how to use new technology in urban planning. So, are there any more questions to be clarified from Dr. Anuradha?
I think it's not a matter. I can answer Sinhala as well, but if you can ask any language except only Sinhala and Tamil, like Sinhala and English, I can speak at the moment. And unfortunately, I can't speak Tamil, but I learned it, but I am not fluent in Tamil.
Okay, thank
That's
you.
great. Then, so if you have any questions, you can ask from Sinhala as well. Yeah, continue.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable ideas. So my question is, what if an urban planning is hoping to learn more about how to use information technology in urban planning in higher education? What would your suggestions would be? Any specific detail or any specific certification course, sir?
Yes, yeah, there are a lot of certifications are there now. As example, now think about your plan is to work with develop a system, or sometimes you try to introduce a IoT architecture. Then based on that, most of the time in most of the environment as a profession, they will try to check whether do you have some kind of a professional qualification, enough professional qualifications. And now think about, if you now work with the cloud infrastructure. Nowadays, every IoT device connected to the cloud. Then there are some cloud certification, like the AWS cloud certification, then Azure, that is from Microsoft, the cloud certification you can do. Then virtualization certifications also there. Then IoT certifications already available. Then some degree programs, even they are already introduced it as a subject. And also when you are doing your research project, that specific area you can thoroughly plan to highlight the technical advancement relevant to IT or IoT or artificial intelligence, that side. Then based on that, you can prove somebody you are work this area, you may have experience with your degree qualification. Then you can do a lot of implementation or design based on IT. Then some normally at the moment you can see some universities, they are offering IoT certificate level programs, then IoT diploma level certification. Likewise, those specific certifications are there. As example, if you try to learn Python, then Python exams also already there. Then if it is C certifications are there. Java, you know Java institution, and a lot of things available around the world. Then based on that, they have some certification level. Now, if it is a database kind of thing, then you have a Oracle database, then MySQL, SQL database you can learn, and you can get the separate certification as well. That's the way certifications are normally highlighted. Now, if you plan to show you have ability to work in a, now think about if it's a Windows environment, it's already normally you are vulnerable enough if you connect to the internet, because everybody can get your information. Now think about you are planning some kind of a design, somebody can get your information. Then therefore, if you can work with the Linux environment, you are more secure than Windows environment. Then if you have a knowledge with the SAP ERP certification, everything available. More industrial certifications are aligned with this expert area. If it is cybersecurity, if it is artificial intelligence, if it's a cloud computing, if it is IoT, more exams are available for you. Now, some IoT at the moment, most of the people try to do with the Raspberry Pi, Arduino. Then they also, as a vendor, they have a vendor specific certification even for you to learn and normally do the exams. Most of the exams nowadays you can do online, and they are giving some monitoring environment for you all to do the examination by, some of them are free, some of them are by paying the examination fee. You can do that. You have to show your area using your camera available with your laptop. And if it is assured nobody available, that no materials available, then it's open your exam. If you move your head here and there, it will disable your examination. A lot of technology is available in current scenario for you to normally do the certification even.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. It's clear.
Actually, whatever things you learn, it's you may have a certification if you find through internet. Yes, go ahead.
Sir, I would really like to know about your experience in application of IT sectors.
Yes, normally I have more than 28 plus years experience so far. Actually, I worked in an industry as well as academia, as well as the semi-government industries, as well as government so far in my life. Then normally, currently, I'm working as an assistant professor. Then we are normally lot of projects we implemented actually. Normally my PhD relevant to Indo navigation and assistive technology. Now think about Indo spatial environment arrangement, even a planning part. Then outside navigation, even we need it happens according to the plan. Normally more projects happen in my life so far. Then I normally launch some product to read some documentation for blind people rather than using a braille system, and then introduce them to navigate from Indo environment, because you are 80% of your life you are in an Indo environment in your life. Then if you are a disabled person, you are normally unable to live without somebody's support or interaction. Then to support those kind of thing without getting others support to do some day-to-day routine, we introduce some devices in IT environment, but it's totally work with the IT, IoT, and those kind of things. And some projects we are doing at the moment for agriculture sector to identify the fertilizer and their NPK level, and based on that predict the what kind of plants they can grow with remaining fertilizers rather than using new fertilizers to that area. And those kind of projects are going on, and monitoring heartbeat level and the pressure level to get some information they collect to some place, and based on that those information doctors can give them a treatment if they are disabled people or elderly people. those projects happening in current scenario with me, and we are supervising undergraduate, MPhil, PhD research project as well. More publication even you can do, and yourself even you can try good research work. More publication required for you to publish in reputed journals and conferences. We are doing those kind of thing so far in my life as an academy. I mean, we are creating more curriculums for IT environment, schools, and university level. And in our, we are the, I think, first university introduced the IoT course for MSc and undergraduate program. Because it's a must, it's a required for our students and to the country. The sad thing is people who are normally getting more experience, they are leaving the country. That's the sad thing I have seen so far in my life.
Thank you, sir. I think that covered covering this question. There's one more in the chat. Ms. Shanika is asking, what are the modern towns in the world applied with the smart technology that you have explained earlier?
Yeah, actually a lot of cities now. When I was in Australia, actually it consists everything with the IT. Then they have a parking slot. They have a 1 hour parking slot free. Then 4 hour parking slot, some places free. Then 1 day parking slot. Likewise, they have a more parking facilities, but everything we have to pay using our mobile phone. And they normally automatically detect at what time we reach that place and at what time we are leaving that one. Then automatically the payment we have to pay through mobile apps in smart cities. And also we can get accurate information. The GPS even work up to 99% accuracy because we can now, as example, if you need to get some information, most of the places they have RFID tags and more information. And also taxi service even it's embedded with the camera systems. Then everybody may have some kind of a security as a citizen. Then think about some unnecessary thing happens inside the taxi service. The following day you can see that taxi driver in a jail. That kind of thing happens. Actually, they are monitoring their city area using CCTV camera systems, and they try to detect the vehicle numbers. If you did some unnecessary things by, that means you not obeying the whatever rules, the traffic and whatever, then those kind of information directly goes to the police station, and based on that the fine will come to you following day through email. And also now if we come to the parking slot, if those parking slots are not haven't enough vacant slot, then it shows us in advance using camera systems, and then based on that we can see is that parking slot A or B or C or D to reach very quickly to park our vehicle. And also more security things they included here now. Actually, most of the smart cities, the human involvement is very less. Actually, at all, they are not involving to do anything during those kind of city area. Actually, they have some sensors they place here and there to identify more voiced area. Then based on that, they can realize some kind of riots or strikes or some kind of unnecessary behavioral patterns happen those places. Rather than somebody make call to the police station, then smart police activated with that one. Then smart parking slot, then smart road, smart lighting conditions. Then now think about there, when I was there, somewhere around 8 p.m. even, it looked like the daytime. Then most of the time those lights illuminated automatically, not like after 5 or 6. Then if they didn't need illuminating lights, it's not happening during that area. And also most by considering the lighting condition, it will automatically dim the lights as well, and they try to save the energy. And also they try to get the notification about the electricity and failure happens to those areas through those devices connected here and there. It's look like a fully automated solution uh, for us to enjoy our life when we are at these smart towns. A lot of smart cities and towns available in other countries like Dubai. They have a good smart city, and they are fully automated everything. Then if you now when you're going to the place when you're at the airport till you reach your hotel, even it support your smart solutions to reach that place. Everything interconnected with the smart city environment. The monitoring and notification and everything happens automatically, and if you need the help, even there are possibility for you to get by scanning some QR codes and the RFID tags and everything available here and there. And we also have to maintain our own ID cards with them to get more facilities available those city area. What
Thank you,
else?
sir. Yeah, it was really good because it gave us the whole idea of the smart city and how IoT comes into place. So when you were talking about earlier, you mentioned this machine learning. Very
Yeah.
simply, how would you explain what this machine learning is?
Yeah, machine learning simply is look like this. Now think about we need to get some information about your city planning course, right? Then what the things you try to do is at the moment you try to make a call. Sometimes they are not answering. Sometimes they are in a way you try to answer you. Likewise, those kind of things. But now, if machine learning means once again, it's look like a algorithms and also it's related to AI as well. We try to collect data set like now think about by typing we'll try to check whether is today evening do we have rainy, then somebody need to answer that one. But machine learning algorithms try to find the data set embedded with the algorithm and try to by analyzing last 5 to 6 year data relevant to 19th September from early days of the years, they try to give some kind of an answer. Normally robotics, automation and everything happens based on this machine learning.
Thank you, sir. There's another question raised by Shanika. Is any recent Sri Lankan examples to start to convert towns to smart towns?
Yeah, actually, nowadays in Sri Lanka, they have a plan. Actually, the first plan is normally they work with this port city. Then port city maybe will become the role model for the smart city. That's the plan in Sri Lanka we have at the moment. But before that, I think we have to lay internet or fiber optics cables within the country. Then based on that, you can do a lot of things actually. As far as if I have known, more connectivity now goes to our schools, fiber connections. Therefore, based on that, if we can spread the internet connectivity around the country, I think very quickly we can think about smart city concept, because in Sri Lanka, in some places, some hotels and some apartments, normally these concepts already implemented nowadays. Normally very quickly we have to move this smart city concept actually. Yourself, everything doing by yourself when you're driving your vehicle to the city, and you try to park yourself, you try to pay yourself, then whatever information you require you can gather through ubiquitous computing technologies. Everything should be there. But yeah, you also have to think about to do this one very quickly as a planner, young planner. It is normally we can handle that kind of things to answer that kind of question by yourself very quickly.
Yes, thank you, sir. Yeah, we are hoping that Sri Lanka will have that opportunity very soon.
Yeah.
Any more questions?
I have a question related to that, Sajani and Dr. Ananda.
Yeah.
How long will it take to practically implement these kind of IoT-based development plans in Sri Lankan context? Because as urban planners, when preparing the local and site plans for our study purposes, it was a great challenge for us to propose innovative initiatives in Sri Lanka with the barriers and the uneven development in urban and rural areas. So I'd like to know how long, at least to know how
Actually,
long will it take?
I think it based on your procurement process sometimes, approval to procurement process. Then in Sri Lankan situation, we know we have some guidelines, rules to do that one. Then if you propose, then proposal should be approved, that part is there. Okay, we are no need to talk about that one, but now we are in an era of industrial revolution. We can say at the moment we are in the industrial revolution version 4, right? Then it revolutionize the way companies manufacture, improve the distribute their products. Then manufacturer integrating enabling technologies, including Internet of Things, cloud computing, analytics, AI, and machine learning into their production facilities. And normally the industry is ready. Then if you hand over that one to an industry, your tender, then after doing the tender process, if you offer that tender to that people, then based on the timeline they have given, they can finish it off. Now, as example, nowadays, good thing is we can see in Colombo or city area, most of the places they place a CCTV camera system. Then based on that, they can do a lot of analysis. Then they can get some evidences, and they can identify some vulnerabilities, threats happening day-to-day time. Those kind of things are available, but it's not really, we can't tell it as a smart town, but we have to think about from the beginning now. Even if it's USA, if they try to normally maintain some kind of a street lamp, then that street lamp, they try to place CCTV camera and other required sensors. In Sri Lankan infrastructure, most of the time, it is not as such, because we have a separate entity. Sometimes we have to get approval from somewhere else, another place, another place. Based on that, it take long time. That's why now, we have to get the business mass indexing even to the country. It take long time. Therefore, investors even never try to wait that amount of time within the country to do the investment. Then we have to think about reduce that time elapsed between to get the business mass indexing even. Then now change management we can do very quickly. It is the normally the higher decision makers need to think about which way we'll try to take or do these changes, and based on that, I think that decision would I think change the time. That is the answer I can give you at the moment.
Thank you, sir. Yes, I think that's the time we got. We have come to our end, really limited time here. So any more question we would be answering, like one more, we might have one more. For
There's one more question actually. The young planner we engage with web GIS, then ArcGIS, QGIS, many spatial tools. Yeah, there are, I think, straight, there's another tool. There are open source tools also available.
Yes.
Normally with this GIS system, then actually you can collect more data, right? Then actually it's interrelated with the IT actually, this web GIS, because using a URL, you can find the information relevant that the location, that city, that is possible for you to work out here. Because now as a city planner, you try to think about zoning, then towns are divided into substitute zone or suitable zones, such as commercialization zone, industrial zone, and residential zone. That is your duty actually. Then now think about in my place actually. I think you also can't hear any noises here, but it's a cool and calm place to live at the moment. Yeah, the place I am living, that kind of planning should be there. Then you need to identify more information relevant to that area. Then normally think about if it is a web GIS, is a advanced form of GIS. right? Whatever things you learn. GIS advanced form is WebGIS, the most commonly known as a geographical information system. It's available on the web platform. Then if you are a good technology, if you have a skills about web technologies, you can do a lot of things with the WebGIS. Then the server has a unique uniform resource locator we call URL, so that clients can find on the web is bring GIS into the hand of the people. Then that kind of a advantage available with this WebGIS technology in current scenario.
Yes, sir. So I think we are having limited time, so we'll wrap up with any final remarks. I think I can wrap up asking if someone is very much eager to enter into IT sector, what would be your advice? So let's end it up with it. Am I audible to you, sir?
Yes, yeah, normally, actually, now that question even partially asks which software engineer graduates, what qualification. Normally, think about now your degree, even relevant to think about accessibility planning or that kind of a specific disciplinary area, but it's integral part of your program. IT is integral part of that one. Then therefore, you have to learn these GIS tools, and actually it's a much needed technology as well as expertise. We can't find more expertise in GIS in Sri Lanka as well, because it is a highly paid job market available with these GIS technologies. Therefore, it is a good specific area, as correctly your curriculum creators introduced you. Better to follow that kind of a specific area. And also nowadays AI, artificial intelligence, and Internet of Things, then autonomous flying object like drone technologies comes up with all together with machine learning and artificial intelligence and IoT, right? Then no, think about even a face detection camera and movement for public safety is a must. Then we can introduce those kind of things. Then as example, think about if you think about smart waste management and disposal system, it is a big headache to the city area. Then people living in cities is produce huge amount of waste in another challenge for the urban and waste management. Then we can introduce a solution for those waste managements using AI enabled camera and placing here and there in a city environment. Then you can get notification. Based on that, you can have a IT AI enabled sensors. Then you can collect those information to your websites, and you can get the notifications, and you can take necessary actions based on that. Those kind of thing is possible for us to introduce with these new technologies.
Yes. So thank you, Dr. Anuradha. It was a really informative session. So I think our young planners had an amazing opportunity to talk to you straight away and ask these questions that they have been, because ITs are really not much familiar. It's not quite related with urban planning, but there are so many connections that we can make. So with that, so let me thank you, Dr. Anuradha, for accepting our invitation and devoting your time to spend with us. You're educating all these insights. We appreciate all that you have taught us, sir. So thank you very much. With that, I would like to thank all of you for joining with us today and hope you had a wonderful time. So let's meet again in the main session. Good day to you all.
Okay, thank you very much and good luck for your future.